How we doing, guys? Of course, we're just gonna get into the review. We got some things to cover, like lineups, like we'll review our spread picks. But I like this kind of reflection show, and that's why I like to just open it up like we're having a conversation, because I feel like that's the best way to like parse out what happened without doing a full-on review of everything. Because I do think that kind of gets you can get slowed down in the process of trying to review every game. And so what I'll do is I'll just tell you the things that I thought were interesting about this week. We'll show off obviously our lineup, and then I did have one pretty good hit in a lineup, and then obviously diversified my portfolio with the sports book, which I always do. And I really do think, before I kick it over to Donnie and Gov, there's just you should be betting different versions of what you think is going to happen each week. That's my takeaway. Because like this week had a lot of high scoring games and high scoring opportunities, but maybe you play early only and you found success there, or maybe you could find, you didn't like the late slate and you could fade it, for example, or, you liked a certain game and you can attack it in the spreads. That's why we give you so much diversity, because really what we're trying to do is show you how to build a bankroll. And so, yes, it was a high scoring week, and yes, you had to have certain guys, and maybe you got fortunate or unlucky depending on your lineup, for this given week. But I do think there was ways to win this week that weren't always, or not always available, that if you really like something, you could find a way to bet it and still be profitable. So while Donnie fixes his mic there, I'll kick it over to Gov. How we doing, man?
Doing good. Like I agree with you for the most part on that for this week. Like, you didn't need to get a lot very different this week, but like if you got different in the one or two spots, if you like you said, if you capitalized on that one good game in the afternoon instead of the other ones that people were playing, or just whatever, there were a lot of good spots this week, like a lot of high scores, but even in the lopsided games, like Indy put up a lot of points in their lopsided win.
And maybe that's just a bias of mine, or I guess I should say more of a skill tree of mine. Is like when I see really good value, I've gotten to the point where I'll diversify my value. I'm like, instead of trying to jam in all the value in this lineup, I'll play it in different ways. And I think that's what made me profitable this week. Donnie, was there any major takeaways or something that you were proud of from your own process?
I mean, my only mistake this week was playing my best lineups in the free contest with no, two lineups scored over 180 points and they're in the free contest and don't cash because of that.
That happens though, because you're a bit more freewheeling. You're not afraid of making a mistake, and sometimes that's that kind of week where that's going to do well.
Yeah. I made profit this week over other bets, so that's where I came out. I came out on top. That's all that matters.
And usually I make profit, and I've told you guys transparently, but I do it so many different ways. I can't tell you there's one certain way to do it. Like, no matter what podcast you listen to for content, no matter what style you would like to play, like I've heard people like to play cash games. I haven't played cash games in 2 years because I don't find enough edge to be worth it. I'll actually do like the drafts, the snake drafts and stuff like that over cash games. So I just find there's more of an edge there. So basically, that's like my main takeaway is just not the unit shame and not to like whatever your edge is, attack it.
My biggest weakness I felt always was showdown, and I converted over to more of just the parlay version, just building live game parlays, and that's where all my profits come from this year. Actually, my lineups haven't been doing great. I mean, no wrong contest here, there. Things happen, but those in-game parlays are what's saving me this year personally, and I will not play a showdown from here on out because of that. That's how I'll play showdown from here on out.
Yeah, I can understand that. Gov, did you have any personal wins?
Flash drafts, like I can see that. Like if that's working for you, that's good.
Yeah,
like I would definitely lean into whatever your strength is right now.
It's just more fun for me too, because it's like, oh, they did this, so now I like. It's almost like doing best ball, but like on a week. Best ball in a weekly kind of format. It's kind of weird to explain, but I kind of like it. And it actually gets me on to thinking about different players and different correlations too, so that it can actually help me with my lineup, because it's like, oh, well, of course everyone likes this main, stack, but if that goes early in the draft, you got to think like, how can I save my draft? And not enough times do we think that in a lineup. I think a lot of people put in their favorite stack in a lineup and then they start to build. So what I've actually done is like put in my cheap value first and then build, or I'll put in like the guys I'm kind of iffy on first and then be like, well, what do I actually want around this? So it's actually like led to different unique builds. Was there any major success for you, Gov, this week? Or because this was a high scoring week, but I don't think you could have done very much different to get to the high score. I think there was like one major path, and then you just basically hung on for a min cash, I feel like, this week.
There was definitely a core of guys that like did the job this week.
Yeah.
And, like, some of them were like cash cores. Like Fields got there if you played him. JT and Rico Dowdle, they all got there. The next tier down, like especially running back, JT, Dowdle, Javonte, Breece Hall, A-Chain, all of them sort of got there. Like A-Chain was probably the worst of them, and he didn't really kill you.
Yeah. See,
He was
that's
being
why
used as a wide receiver half the time. He could have gotten you way more too, to be honest.
Yeah, Krosky Merritt was like the only shock this week, I think.
And he was unowned.
he was on.
Same thing with like a Xavier Hutchinson for Houston who caught 2 touchdowns. Completely unowned. It didn't matter.
Right.
So like a lot of the high scores did come from some of these guys like in our lineup that have like A-Chain. They were 25. And Jigba had a massive score, but he was chalk. Ferguson have a massive score, but he was one of the top tight ends. So like, yeah, a good 20 to 25% of the field had these cash guys and they went off. And 20 to 25% of the field is what gets paid out. So if you played enough of them, you were golden. But there was only like 5 of them that really went off, maybe 6. And a bunch of them were running backs. So you're only getting 3 of them. So you're probably only getting 5 of the ones that went off in your lineup. Then you were going to need Ibuka that went off at low ownership. You were going to need Chase that ended up nuking at low ownership.
Yeah.
To go with a Rico and a JT and a Breece Hall.
It reminded me of a week where you paid up for you just did the value thing and you just took the salary value of the main guys, like especially running back this week, and then you
Rico and such like that. Of course,
you made a bet on talent. You know, like this was a bet on talent week with Chase. Like there was nothing to say play Chase. You know, there was the quarterback we didn't trust. We don't trust the offense. You know, they look bad, but you just bet on the talent and that paid off. You know. Jackson Smith and Jigba was a bet on talent because the opportunity hadn't been there. They don't want to throw the ball that much. Now they were forced to throw because of the Bucs, but that was still a projection. You still had to project that. And the people that projected it, they benefited because that game scored over 60 points, I do believe. So what I also like about this slate too, Gov, it was not one of those slates where you can say something lucky happened. Like not a bunch of people played Krosky Merritt, so you can't even say that's like a lucky outcome. So what I like is you had high-priced guys do well, JT, you know, so forth, or you had the cheap guys. There was multiple ways to get there. So I kind of like that week because it still adds a lot of strategy to what we can actually use for the next week as well. If we looked at our lineup just quickly before I show my personal success, because I did have a good, profitable week, so I'll show the strategy. You guys haven't seen that lineup either, so it's kind of interesting what you guys think in real time. But even looking back at this one that didn't get there, 160, I think I said it right before we went live, it would have cashed in most weeks. You know, so I actually still really like this lineup. It didn't have enough. Like it just didn't have enough gasoline, but I like the engine. Like I like the idea of this lineup a lot.
See, and Bryce was fine giving you 14 at where he was at. There wasn't many quarterbacks that went off, but like Garrett Wilson, I feel like he was lucky to get there. He got that garbage time TD at the end. Like there was some things that it was a weird week too, scoring because Monty had that pass touchdown. We got lucky in that regard of Monty passing one, Garrett Wilson getting a garbage time and a blowout. There was just some stuff that went our way as well. A lot of people's way because you see the ownership. Garrett Wilson's 43%. Like,
well, especially to your point, Donnie, when it comes to the Lions and Cincinnati game, because all the scoring, all the touchdowns, all the like big finale scores, the touchdown, the big boosters came from unlikely sources. Like we got a passing touchdown from David Montgomery, so that takes the Jared Goff stacks out of play for that touchdown. You get a Tesla touchdown, which we've been waiting for. It hasn't happened. People finally jumped off of it. Everyone wanted to play Jameson Williams, including me. He gets like one target in that game because, and then the third string tight end scores the touchdown, who we basically use as a fullback essentially in this offense. He just gets the easy dump off. Like if those touchdowns, one of them goes to St. Brown or two of them go to Gibbs, it's totally different. So that's going to change the slate as well. This week, I feel like there was all the cheap defenses did well too, which was very different than what we saw a couple weeks ago, where it was like, oh, there was a couple outlier defenses. This week, it just seemed like a lot of cheap defenses did well.
I didn't see
Houston was sort of chalky, and then I played the Saints, and they were the best defense on the slate, honestly.
Yeah.
How much did the Saints score? 18. Okay.
18.
Yeah.
So that worked out perfectly. But
if you looked at this, the Chargers got very unlucky because every time they got into the red zone and the big scoring opportunities, they like had a quick turnover, or like Justin Herbert had like one of the worst interceptions I've seen. I think of his career he's thrown. That was just a bad decision, and that was on the goal line.
I have a scoring question, by the way.
Go ahead.
Who got the touchdown? Like, did the defense for the Titans get that fumble recovery?
No, I'm pretty sure that would have gone to Tyler Lockett.
It was just
at the end of the game. It was like a interception that then got fumbled at the goal line trying to run it back, and then got recovered by Tyler Lockett in the end zone. I believe that goes down as like a Tyler Lockett touchdown.
So that wasn't defense, because technically that's.
I think defense scores points on it, but I think Lockett gets a touchdown.
Right. Yeah, the defense gets a fumble, but Lockett gets a fumble recovery touchdown.
Okay.
Whatever. No yards.
Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't know. That was interesting.
I believe.
But God, this is
an NFL scoring official. So
this is a lineup that, like, I think Donnie hit on it. We got lucky with Garrett Wilson, so we can't really complain that, like, we didn't score points. But like the Chargers almost scored, or should have scored, or likely would have scored if you looked at the statistics, given how many times they were in the red zone. And Lag got one. He could have had a really smash week. And then Ted McMillan continues to see amazing targets. Like, that was not a bad play for us. It just, he did not cash in on some of them. But I was, it all went to Rico Dowdle, who I benefited from in another lineup I'll show you. If that's a more passing script, I feel like Ted McMillan gets there. And maybe if the Chargers don't have so many boneheaded calls, they get there. So this lineup, I feel like, could have easily been in the cash line. So I just feel like if we keep building a lineup like this, eventually we will cash. I think we will be profitable with this experiment. By week 10, I think we'll be profitable. I really do. So I think we're building good lineups. Anything else before we transition just as overview to some other stuff?
No, we can go to your personal, because I want to see how that was built.
Just to show you a good success, and then we can get on the spreads or even look forward to week 6 if you want.
The spreads, yes.
I don't know which one.
It was a pretty even week in that.
Govey, you're a Panthers fan. I'm already hearing a lot of talk about Bryce Young being chalky, man. We love Bryce Young around here. We definitely don't need the chalk coming in on Bryce Young because they're playing the Cowboys.
Can we? The love is kind of a little bit of a stretch. I think we're just one of the. Well, you love him, but like I think me and Gov just haven't given up on him yet. Maybe I'm speaking for Gov too much.
No, you're kind of right. You're not wrong.
I'm just saying he's already starting to look like the chalky quarterback just because of the game environment. I'll just say this: I will play that Cowboys Panthers game. I don't care how chalky it is because I actually want to go back to
the chalk's going to be Rico revenge game.
Yeah,
after the freaking 200-yarder he just put
out.
Most likely,
he'll have to practice this week, but we'll see.
I think I'm off of Rico this week. I think I'm going to go right to Tech McMillan. He's going to have a big game into it. I've been watching a lot of his games. He's like a fingernail away from pulling some amazing catches in. Speaking of Rico Dowdle, though, I'll show you this lineup that had all kinds of flames in it. It was one of the rare times I've been over 200. Usually I'll cash easily in weeks that don't require 200. Rarely on like high scoring weeks do I cash. So this lineup really did well for me. I was pretty proud of it. And I mean, it had some luck. I think Democado fumbling and just like giving away the game for the Cardinals benefited Carter because he got some looks I don't think he would have got late in that game.
Did you see
every cheap running back and jam in all the high price wide receivers? Yeah. That's a plan.
Yeah, that coach got fined for hitting DeMarcado after the game.
Did he?
The game. Yeah, he got I think it was $100K fine for hitting him.
Interesting. Look, I tell you guys every week, and some weeks it works for me and some it doesn't. I love stars and scrubs. It's not always one version of stars and scrubs, but this is why I wanted to show it off, not so much because of the score, even though the score is sexy and I'm proud of it. It's like I will find value and then I will use that value. I'm not one of those guys like, I'll play value just because they're a value. I will find a way. I believed in Jamar Chase's talent. That's what it was. This week, I was playing St. Brown and Chase no matter what. Now, St. Brown didn't really get there for me, but Chase got there at low ownership at such a rate that I wouldn't have played either one of those guys without each other. So I basically eat the St. Brown. To me, St. Brown's a flame just because it forces me to play Chase. There's no version I would have played Higgins. I didn't think Higgins was a good play. I only wanted Chase and St. Brown and then obviously other Lions. But this was definitely a plan, like you were saying, Ghost.
Yeah, I like this lineup build. I understand the way you build. You went with all the cheap running backs.
Yeah.
That is good. That allowed you to pay up everywhere else, and you got good guys. Literally, the only way you could have done better would have been to play Ibuka instead of St. Brown with this lineup, I believe.
I just want to give a quick shout out too because we build this show basically on a single entry premise of hey, what would three guys do if they had to force together their player pools and force their ideas and kind of merge it? It's mostly because I was on that Chargers Commanders game that I was even talking about this game, but I was talking about it with some other friends, and they were like, hey, look, if you like Justin Herbert so much, you kind of have to like Daniels, don't you? And Daniels is a pay up. He fits your stars and scrub mindset. You already want this guy. So even play your Justin Herbert stuff, that's fine, and I did. But this was a Justin Herbert stack originally. And I'm like, you know what? I got to get Daniels in it. And he was right. The only reason I didn't play Daniels is I was playing it for the injury the injury concern. But he's like, well, if you're so concerned about him being injured, then you can't like that game environment because you have to like that game environment for the Commanders to push. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I got to build a Daniels lineup. And this is, this carried the profit basically in terms of the lineups this week. So I was really proud of how this came because I didn't build this until Saturday night. 8:56 is actually when I built it because I looked at the clock. I'm like, you know what? I need a Daniels lineup. Donnie, you have any thoughts? You don't have to, by the way.
Naked Daniels. Not even a bring back. This doesn't even say that you like the game environment. This just says I had money, so I paid up for the rushing quarterback on the side.
Well, that's why I did it. Exactly. But I wanted to pay up for a quarterback and spend money that I didn't think other people would have or want to have. And I wanted to do it in such a gross, unique way that everyone would be like, oh, I would never do that.
Definitely got unique with it. He's sub 5%.
To be fair, ownership-wise, you needed it with the 320+%, 420+%.
Well, he played a lot of chalk. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
He could have gone off St. Brown to Ibuka, gotten off some chalk, gotten more points. But the Daniels play was good. going with all three of the cheap running backs. A lot of people were playing Rico. Some people got to Rachaad White at 17%. But almost no one really played Carter. I think more people played DeMarcado. And looking back on,
I played Carter and no DeMarcado, so.
And the only reason
St. Brown and Njigba were chalky wide receivers, but Chase was not. So like Chase got you different. Pay up for guys who people aren't playing.
Yeah. And the only reason I didn't play DeMarcado is because I just like he's a receiving back. He's fumbled in the past. Now I didn't expect the drop fumble. I didn't think he was going to do all that and really exaggerate it. But that was like I just felt like Carter was the sure-handed guy, and if anything, he's going to get a red zone touch.
Well, Carter said he was the starter.
Yeah, I mean he said it, but like
he openly said he was the starter. I don't think you say that without knowing.
Yeah, there's some point to that. But I was even playing him, even if he had like the Kareem Hunt role for the Chiefs. Like I'm like he doesn't need the volume. I'm playing him because I think he's the goal line guy, regardless. So I just want to show that off. We can get to the spread picks as well. But this is basically why we can keep playing this week. So, I mean, this goes in our portfolio as a win for the show.
Logan, your link to it should still work.
I don't have it up. It's okay. I'll work on it, though. You have it in our Discord, right?
Yeah. Or in our private chat, I believe.
Unfortunately, Donnie, we send each other a lot of messages, but I'll find them. You don't know anything off the top of your head, do you?
No, I have to pull it up. I didn't look at it.
Yeah, we definitely send each other a lot of messages. I can now confirm. I'm quickly trying to go through this.
All right, I sent it to you now.
Okay, that works. Thank you.
So for the lock of the week, we had Panthers plus 1.5. I mean, Rico, thank you, I guess. Thank you, Rico Dowdle. You got to just pull up 2025 at the bottom there. I cannot believe Rico Dowdle had 200 yards. Otherwise, pretty, like Gov said, it was pretty even week overall. 1-1 all around.
Wait. Hold on just a second.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of the Rico Dowdle hate. I think Rico Dowdle was always good. And it's just the way the Panthers run their offense. They just usually give one running back. I thought Rico Dowdle was a good running back, wasn't he? Like
he was okay last year. Like he just wasn't special. He was okay. He was a serviceable back.
Go weigh in because you got a bias here, but I think the bias might be actually beneficial.
Rico was fine. I didn't think he. I get what Donnie's saying. I don't think Rico's anything special. Top 5 all-time talent back.
No, not that.
He's not like Barkley or Bijan, but like. Is he at least Jordan Mason? Sure, definitely. He's a very serviceable back who can be used multiple times, take a lot of carries. He can do passing game work. Like having him behind Chuba meant we were always going to have a run game, even if Chuba got hurt.
Yeah,
that was my one thing this week. It's like Rico's going to step in and get like all the work and do everything and be fine. It's just what does he produce? Because Chuba hadn't been producing. But Chuba, I guess, hadn't been producing because he was hurt.
And maybe I overreacted. Maybe Donnie would actually agree with this, but I thought it was a pretty clear kind of tier. I thought it was White and Rico, and then DeMarcado and Carter were like the risk. Like I just felt like the White and Rico had like they were for sure things. Go ahead, Donnie. I just had to get that out.
Yeah, I mean 1-1 all around though. It's pretty good. Gov's still in last. Me and Logan sitting pretty in first. Eh? We got at least a week. We got at least a week grace
period. Yeah, you're close.
That week grace period against Gov is huge.
I think I'm either going to blow you guys out or you guys are going to kill me. Like it's just the way things usually go for me. Usually I get on a roll or that roll ends really quickly. So
you both already have 2 perfect weeks where I have not had a perfect week yet, and that's really what's hurting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to suppress my bias. Patriots Oh, we look so good.
Be honest, Donnie. You're scared of Gov's computer. You think Gov's over there like working the DFS laboratory or something. You think he's cooking something up with his analytics and his numbers. You're not scared of my emotional eyeballs. Like I know that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get too much into Patriots because I'll get ridiculous.
It's fine. Like the Pats are looking good this year. Still don't look like you have much of a run game, but like that can develop if Henderson develops.
Yeah,
It does say a lot about the Bills, though.
I tried.
That is one of those weird divisional games. I chalk that up to that. It's like,
you think so?
I don't even know how. Like Bills at home. Like yes, the Pats are solid, but they shouldn't have been able to do that.
I agree.
Buffalo had so many penalties and mistakes. Like, say however you want. Like, either Buffalo was undisciplined and lost that game, or the refs kept that game close, or whatever. But I'll give it to you. New England played well, and they won the game.
I tried to get Logan to eat his crow though on Josh McDaniels. I don't think he will yet though.
I said if he won that game, I'd give him credit. That was the right way to attack that game. They obviously couldn't stop Diggs. He kept going to it. Like Josh McDaniels, he gets kind of silly sometimes with his creativity or his like stubbornness to like prove his point. And I feel like this game was a perfect example of how he might have grown some. And he was like, oh, yeah, this Diggs stuff is working. Let me not get too cute and just keep doing what's working. And that's why I'll give him a lot of credit. He did it.
We'll never have another Stephon Diggs game like that again. I'll say that.
Maybe.
I'd be shocked.
Calling it now.
I'd be shocked.
Yeah. See, but that's what I was always afraid of. But like, he's so smart, Donnie, but a lot of times he outsmarts himself, or he tries to be the smartest guy in the room, even though he already is, and it just comes off like an asshole. And this game, instead of doing that, he was like, you know what? They can't stop Diggs. There's obviously a matchup problem here.
Abandon the run.
Yeah. And so I have to give him credit for that.
Have to go back and look and see against the spread who's been good this year.
You know, I got a big receipt too. I've been holding for a while. Remember how you guys laughed at me about Waller? That Darren Waller pick is looking pretty good.
It's so awesome. No, to be fair, I was okay with it once. I wasn't okay.
Oh, Jesus.
My issue was doubling down on it. I wanted one share of him, not two.
I know you don't like to talk about it, Gov, but I do have to tell you one thing about the best ball. Just because like you don't follow it like I do, so you'll be able to temper my expectations or just expectations of people in general. Like, at what point do you celebrate? Hey, I might have a really good team here. Like, you have to be up 100 points. Like, what is that threshold where you're like, or do you just because you say you don't like, but is that a gimmick or do you truly not like at all?
I've looked at my teams just because like now on DraftKings it immediately brings them up when you go to your contests. Yeah. So like because of that, I've looked at my team. So like I can tell you straight up right now, I have 3 teams advancing. I have another 10 that are within 3rd or 4th in my box. So like I have 3 that are in 1st or 2nd and another 10 that are right behind that. But even looking at it now, like, yeah, you got to be up like 100 after week 13.
Okay,
because you could still lose 100 points in week 13 and 14.
I'm not saying where we would get confident and start cheerleading. When do you feel like comfortable though, like where you can sit back a little bit, or are you just still puckered up?
Literally until after week 13, if I'm not up a good 100 points, I'm not comfortable. If I have a team that's only up 90 points going into week 13, that team could make 3rd and not cash. 100%.
Yeah.
It is that volatile, especially when you get late in the year, because guys will still put up 25, 30-point games, but now they will be the more random dudes. There will be some rookies. There will be some young guys. There will be all of that. There will be some dudes rested because teams don't play. There will be a lot of different changes that happen, even in week 13, 14, 15 of an 18-game season. Teams are going to try harder or have to play games rougher or closer to the vest because of playoff implications. Things change once you get there. So you really got to be a solid 90 to 100 points up after week 13. Going into that final week of the season. If you know you're in first, second by first or second by 100 points, you're in first and you're up by 75, 80, you're good. You're in second and you're 30 or 40 away from first or from third, you're probably not great. You really got to be up. And you got to be up late in the season. It literally doesn't matter if you're up 100 points right now.
Yeah. We do have comments, by the way.
Do we?
I have a team right now where I'm in fourth, but first place is 120 points ahead of me.
That's a good point. No, because the part of why I like to play best ball is I like to track it. So if I'm right, I want to celebrate it. But if I'm wrong, I also want to keep a receipt of it. I don't do it for an ego boost as much as I do it just as kind of a radar checker, how a sports bettor will keep track of their good bets and bad bets. I kind of use it as a season of review. I will say our best team though has a bunch of our late round flyers, and each one of us had a big stand on one of those guys. That's what has me most proud. We do have this comment here though. Now, Donnie, I should warn you, I did not preface this or read this ahead of time. I probably should start doing that, but I trusted you that this was a decent comment, so I hope it is.
Yeah, it is.
So this is a trade.
I'm guessing it's a trade.
I'm assuming. Okay.
I like the Pickens and JMO side. I like the stability there compared to Olave, who is always in the medical tent. And
yeah. This is a fun question for me. I want to preface it by saying that. But I hate answering these one-for-one type questions because I don't know what the rest of your team looks like. And I know that sounds like a cop-out. But I would just tell you this. The Jameson side of this trade with Pickens, I think, is a more fun, more adventurous upside kind of play where it's I need big scores from these guys because I might be down at other positions. Where if you want to be more safe, I think the Chris Olave Smith side is more safe because I think Smith and Olave will get more targets. But Jameson and Pickens have the chance to break slate.
Yeah, you're basically, that is the question. Do you need boom or do you need consistency?
I don't think it's even a question.
I like Pickens and
the Pickens-Williams one wins 1,000 times over. You have two much more amazing offenses. Pickens at worst will be the number 2, which would put him even with Devonta Smith. JMO is your deep threat. Chris Olave is a great floor target guy, like Logan said, but he's not the main dude. You need Devonta to be the main wide receiver in that part of the trade.
Yeah.
And Philly's passing offense, I'd rather have the number 2 on Dallas than the number 2 on Philly. And I'd rather take the upside shots in Detroit's offense with JMO, even though people have been wanting to do that for years, and it just is so inconsistent and doesn't hit. In an ideal world, I'd get Pickens and Olave. But Pickens JMO, I think, is just the way to have this trade.
I didn't
need
think
to
of
have the Pickens JMO side. If you're not getting Pickens and JMO, don't trade Pickens and JMO for those two.
Interesting, because I didn't think of the game environment angle of how bad the Eagles' offense has been, and because I was just viewing it the targets and the individual players.
And when it comes to Chris Olave, I would prefer that take to Mr. Blue Tent Man, which is not a horrible take, but he still has a very good floor. He gets a lot of targets. He'll have a spike game as long as he is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
by the
I'm
way,
just
Rattler
looking
looks
at it
good.
as offense. Yeah, again, offense doesn't look horrible, so it's really just if he stays healthy, he'll get the targets and be fine. That's why, like, I would prefer Olave over JMO, just because JMO's way too boom or bust and could easily give you 5 or 6 games this year where he does nothing.
He already has
9 more games this year where he does nothing.
Yeah,
honestly.
Mhm.
But Pickens is going to be the number one for the next couple weeks. Even when Lamb comes back, they'll ease him in. Like, that Dallas offense is humming. Ferg can't do it all forever.
I think it comes down to what you think Pickens is. If you're viewing that Cowboys offense as like an elite offense when they get CD back with, Dak looking healthier. Because
It
remember,
looked like a top 10 offense to me.
Dak looks like he's back in MVP form.
yeah.
Like, he looks back in that kind of conversation again.
But that's what I was saying is when like CD was ready to go and healthy, I think Dak was working his way back. And so now if you can ramp up CD and then Dak should be fully back, you should trust it because I coached basketball for a time. And I know a guy who came back from a leg injury and he was perfectly fine, physically, but emotionally it took like almost, I want to say, an additional 3 months for him to emotionally trust, like, oh, you can jump on that leg again. You can move on that leg. And I'm starting to see Dak actually, they're like, I'm a football player again. So
He's playing with confidence again, and
I
that's
agree.
huge.
Gov made a great point. You got to bet on the two offenses, I think, between the Lions and the Cowboys. Even though Chris Olave has looked amazing. There's a rumor he might.
Again, New Orleans offenses look better than you would think,
Mhm.
and it is still the Eagles. But the Eagles are good when they run the ball. They're not good when they're throwing it all around. And you need them to throw it all around to make their number 2 wide receiver viable for your season long.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to.
As soon as I give him the floor, he cuts out. Go ahead.
I know. I want to.
No,
I just want to.
My only problem with Olave is the health. Like, if you think he's going to be out there all these games, fine. But and maybe Rattler is he looks like he could be the quarterback of the future. This QB draft sucks. They probably don't need a quarterback this draft. So you just try it out, I guess, maybe. And let him sling it this year, probably.
I think a couple of weeks ago they were thinking about a wholesale, trading Kamara, trading Chris Olave. I think that win against the Giants actually keeps that band together just to see what Moore can do. I'm not saying that they'll be a contender or they have this Cinderella story, but I do think he showed enough in that Giants game. They've been competitive with the Bills, earlier this season.
The Saints have been a good watch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They haven't embarrassed themselves, so I do think that they want to keep that core together. Speaking of cores, is there any core players, any groups, any early thoughts you want to get out ahead of Week 6 on?
I don't trust the Thursday night game at all, period. Point blank. I'm scared of it.
Who even plays?
New York?
It's the Giants and the Eagles.
Okay. Because I personally tried to do something this week. I haven't. This is rare for me. Usually I reserve the contest on Monday and I've seen salary. This week, for some reason, I decided I'm not going to look at salary until Wednesday just to see what it would do. So
I will say this. I think if you're trading away Smith, I think that offer is gone Friday. I think you have to make it now if you want to make it.
Interesting.
Main slate. I have looked at the pricing.
Have you?
I don't think they priced up Puka enough.
Yeah. Well, 1 week season.
What is if you haven't looked at the price, what is too expensive?
Too expensive.
Puka Nacua.
86. 86.
No.
86 is too expensive?
Yeah, for me.
I would
For a
say,
guy getting you 25 a week without touchdowns?
I'll say this, Donnie. If he's at 86, I'm playing him. He's an autofill in my lineup.
I was saying 94, 95.
Yeah.
He's doing McCaffrey year stuff where he's 25 floor, 30 or more.
I would say for me not to play him, for me just to put X to him and not consider a build with him. Not saying I will play him. It might be really restricted this week. You never know. But for me not to play him, he'd have to be 9,200.
It's the Rams against Baltimore.
Yeah. He'd have to be 9,200 before I'd fade him completely, just on price.
Well, Donnie was very close to what his actual price is. So, I will be very intrigued what we do this week. Because Donnie wouldn't play him at 86. He's 87, and we're jamming the shit out of him. It's going to be a very awkward week.
It's true, because last week we were pretty much, we didn't even adjust that lineup very much, so it's interesting. I know high-low of 1 week season in their first DFS lab of the week. I don't know if you've seen that yet. He was talking about purposely not building a Puka and CMC lineup on purpose just to see what it would look like. So I do think that it's a leverage week where it's like you got to make your stance, kind of like what I did this week, where it's like I'm going to play stars and scrubs, but I'm purposely going to pay up for the wide receivers, or you're purposely going to do this or that. I think that's what kind of week we're looking at.
Whenever stars and scrubs is available, it always works, especially when it's scrub running backs the way it is. And it was 3 cheap running backs who were going to get large volumes and workloads no matter what. The only way they don't get their large workloads is if they are vultured by the one dude that's behind them.
I agree with you on most of that. I think for me to feel most comfortable with it, I'll build it regardless just because I like that style. But for me to feel most comfortable, it has to be a week like this where you get a veteran running back where it's if he gets the opportunity, I trust it. Like Rico Dowdle. Where if it's a rookie like Krosky Merritt, this is not results based, obviously. If Krosky Merritt was the same price, I wouldn't have played him. I would have played Rico over him because I like that veteran presence. I like, that reassurance he's going to get the touches. Any last thoughts for you, Donnie? I know your internet's struggling a little bit, so I appreciate you sticking through.
I think we have a tough decision with the Patriots running back room this week too.
I think Mike Grable has a tough decision too.
Yeah, no, for sure. But
what do you
Gibson's
mean? You have
out.
Ramon God.
No, but Gibson's out.
You have the Stevenson goat.
So if Henderson's price is decent, just decent,
He poured cold water on it. Is how I interpreted it, Donnie. I'm sure you've listened to the press conference where he's like, "Yeah, we want to get him more involved." He didn't just give him the golden ticket, "Yep, next man up" kind of speech. He gave him the, "Of course we want to increase his role" kind of speech. And I thought that was a downgrade for Henderson. Is that how you read it too?
No, I think he knows his running back room's struggling, and he just you got.
So that team is not trying not to put too much pressure on the rookie.
Yeah, you gotta,
Yeah. It's also kind of happening with the Kansas City Chiefs too. I don't know why they haven't just turned it over to Smith. I don't know.
He looks so much better. He looks better.
Dude, he does. And I know Hunt got the touchdowns and everything, but that could have easily been Smith. I feel like he could have had. I just feel like you got to give your team juice. For some reason,
Hunt is a better goal line back, but Smith is the guy.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of these veteran coaches. I don't know. Maybe I'm an old man myself, and so I have a bit of bias. Just feel like a lot of these old coaches are hanging on to the veterans a little too tight and just not opening.
I don't understand the Pacheco hanging on. Hunt looks better than Pacheco.
Yeah, but they're hanging on. It took a Harris injury for Jim Harbaugh to turn it over to Hampton.
It's hard for me to think that Kansas City's found a running back. The last 2 times they drafted a running back to be their dude, it's been Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Pacheco.
Yeah, and I think you're right, Gov. I think that's exactly why Andy Reid has nightmares. But I'm not even saying he is the guy. I'm saying you got to find out. He's got more juice than Pacheco and Hunt at this point. So you got to squeeze that juice and find out what you got.
That running back room is Pacheco'd out at the door.
Yeah. On that note, good night, guys. We're gonna check out on that.
Oh, peace. Sure. Yeah.
Oh my